In Central Asia's arid heart, the Amu Darya River is a lifeline, transforming deserts into oases and supporting millions. Its waters represent life and survival in a thirsty region. However, Afghanistan's construction of the Qosh Tepa canal marks a critical moment. This project aims to bring prosperity, but poses risks to the region's delicate water balance, highlighting a clash between development and sustainability. How does this ambitious project impact the delicate balance of regional geopolitics? To understand the roots of the unfolding drama, one must delve into the history of water-sharing agreements in the region. The Amu Darya, shared by several nations, has been central to numerous treaties and agreements. Historically, these agreements have attempted to balance the needs of upstream and downstream countries, weaving a complex tapestry of cooperation and conflict over the vital resource. However, these treaties, some dating back to 1946 between the Soviet Union and Afghanistan, were crafted in a different era, under vastly different geopolitical circumstances. They never fully anticipated the scale of modern development or the pressing demands of climate change. Afghanistan, seeking to assert its right to harness the waters within its borders for agriculture and development. Uzbekistan and Turkestan, downstream states that have long depended on the river's flow for their own prosperity, and a myriad of other stakeholders, each with their own vested interests in the river's fate. Afghanistan's motivations are multifaceted. Emerging from decades of conflict and instability, the country is desperate for development projects that can stimulate its economy, provide employment, and secure food and water for its people. The Qosh Tepa Canal represents not just an infrastructure project, but a beacon of hope for a brighter future. Why has Afghanistan decided to embark on this massive project now? The timing is influenced by a confluence of factors: a pressing need for economic revitalization, increased control over natural resources as a means of asserting sovereignty, and perhaps a window of opportunity in the shifting sands of international politics, where Afghanistan seeks to redefine its relationships with its neighbors and the wider world. As we turn the page to the next chapter in this saga, the stakes are high, and the repercussions of Afghanistan's ambitious endeavor ripple through the delicate geopolitical fabric of Central Asia. As the earth is turned and the Qosh Tepa Canal begins to take shape, the immediate consequences ripple across borders, unsettling the fragile balance of the region, Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan, nations that have for centuries relied on the steady flow of the Amu Darya, watch with growing concern as their lifeline is threatened. The prospect of losing significant volumes of water to the new canal sparks fears of agricultural decline, energy shortages, and a future where water scarcity becomes an even more pressing reality. The environmental and human cost of such a diversion could be profound. The Amu Darya's waters nourish not just the fields and cities, but also the ecosystems that have evolved around this great river. As water levels drop, habitats shrink, species face extinction, and the delicate ecological balance is disrupted. For the people living in these regions, the consequences are equally dire. Farms drying up, livelihoods vanishing, and communities struggling to cope with the dwindling resource. How are affected communities responding to these changes? In Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan, there's a growing sense of urgency. Protests, petitions, and public forums begin to emerge as communities demand action from their government. Social media campaigns highlight the plight of those affected, drawing international attention to the crisis. Yet, amidst the outcry, there's also a search for solutions, a hope that dialogue can preempt disaster. The unfolding crisis over the Qosh Tepa Canal propels nations into a complex diplomatic dance. Negotiations commence, fraught with tensions and the weight of historical grievances. The challenge lies not just in reaching a consensus on water sharing, but in redefining relationships in a region where trust is scarce and cooperation has often been a means to an end. Each country brings to the table its own demands, its own vision of fairness, making the path to agreement a labyrinth of diplomatic maneuvering. Uzbekistan's strategy emerges as one of cautious engagement, understanding the potential for conflict, and perhaps recognizing the inevitability of the canal's completion. It advocates for a development that respects existing legal norms and treaties. Uzbekistan's push for legality and fairness is driven by more than just concern for its own water security. It's a recognition that stability in the region is interlinked, that the canal's impact on Uzbekistan could reverberate across Central Asia. Can diplomacy pave a way through this crisis? The stakes are high as diplomats from Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, and other affected nations convene. The discussions are tense, often contentious, but behind them lies a shared understanding of the need for a sustainable solution. The question remains whether mutual respect for legal norms and a genuine commitment to regional stability can lead to a compromise that safeguards the interests of all parties involved. As negotiations continue, the world watches, hoping that diplomacy can indeed find a path through troubled waters. As the dust settles and the waters of the Qosh Tepa Canal begin to flow, the question of how to navigate the waters of cooperation and conflict remains. The path forward is fraught with challenges, but it is not without solutions. Technological advancements and diplomatic innovation hold promise for mitigating the water-sharing dilemma. Desalination technology, water recycling, and efficient irrigation methods offer practical ways to stretch existing water supplies further. Diplomatically, the creation of a regional water-sharing framework, supported by real-time water usage and availability data, could foster transparency and trust among nations. What is the role of the international community? The international community has a pivotal role to play in ensuring equitable water distribution. Through diplomatic pressure, financial assistance, and technical support, global players can encourage sustainable management practices and facilitate negotiation. International legal instruments and unbacked frameworks can provide a basis for resolving disputes, while international development agencies can invest in infrastructure projects that enhance water efficiency and security across the region. What future scenarios can we envision for the region's water security and cooperation? Looking ahead, one can envision a range of scenarios from continued conflict to groundbreaking cooperation. The most optimistic scenario involves countries coming together to form a comprehensive, equitable water-sharing agreement that takes into account the needs of all parties and the health of the ecosystem. In such a future, technological innovation and international support play key roles in ensuring that water, the source of life and conflict, becomes a wellspring of peace and prosperity. Afghanistan's artificial river project is more than a story of engineering triumph. It is a narrative that encapsulates the broader themes of resource control, geopolitical strategy, and environmental stewardship. It highlights the complexities of sharing transboundary resources in a region where water is both a source of life and a potential cause of conflict. The unfolding drama of the Qosh Tepa Canal serves as a microcosm for global challenges in managing natural resources.